So that's number two. Being a nursing instructor, you can teach in the university. Okay, you can teach in some of those standalone private schools. Okay, you can even teach in some hospitals that offer the baccalaureate program. Okay, those are things you can do. All right, another thing you can do is telemedicine. Okay, a lot of people don't understand this, and I actually experienced it was last year. Not me being a telemedicine nurse, but it was more of when I was seeing my primary care provider. He we used Zoom. Was it Zoom? I can't remember if it was Zoom, but it was one of those, because last year everyone was on lockdown, right? But I still needed to see my doctor, and one of the things he did was it was through the laptop. So that's something also nurses can do. Now, something I haven't been doing, oh, pardon me. Now, as a CNA instructor, which I am, okay, I went into that. And I'm partly like a nursing instructor, but I kind of just backed off on that because it was just too much for me to commit to teach LPNs. And but what I do is I tutor online. Okay, so for CNA instructor, you can make as much as 60K plus. Okay, you can do that. As a nursing instructor, you can make between 70,000 to 100,000 per year. So that's not bad. As a telemedicine or tele-nurse, they call tele-nurses, and what you do is usually is remote, especially in remote areas where, so it's remote care, right? And it's very, very popular in places where, in the rural areas. So that's where you find nurses that are tele-nurses, where you're calling in through some kind of device, okay? And then they're making the evaluation or intervention through those devices, okay? So it's via technology. Okay, so that's something also you can do. Again, remember this channel, we're just opening up an avenue to breathe. Okay, everybody cannot do bedside nursing. And this is not to knock up those that do bedside nursing. I did that for many years. Okay, if you don't understand it that way, then I'm sorry. But I'm inclusive. I'm giving you channels or areas that people have not thought about looking at these areas. So that is, telenurse is a good thing for those who, again, it's so nice you can work from home. I love working from home. I have people who have not gone back to work since last year and they're complaining. They want to go out. I'm like, huh? I wish I could. I wish I could actually stay home. Look, let me tell you guys. I want to get to a point where I'm just doing what I want to do. I want to be so financially secure that I just do everything of mine online. Well, maybe not everything, because I actually do love I like the one-on-one teaching, even if not through a device, but meeting people, meeting students and teaching students. I actually like that. But I can also teach online, and that's what I'm doing, okay? So then there is that called an informatic nurse specialist. This is pretty much just IT, an IT nurse. So all those charting systems that we use PCC. I've used PCC. I think it's PCC, right? Point click care. Oh my God, I can't remember. There's PCC. There's another one. I think all in all, I've used like 4 different types of charting systems or documentation systems. So there are nurses who actually work in the IT department and they come up with this models, right? They work on it. They're very techy. So I do know nurses who work in that department. Actually, there was a place I worked, it was in Maryland a long time ago, and in the IT department they had the head IT person, but this is where I first knew of this. But the other IT support were nurses. Interesting. It was a retirement community. Fancy. Anyway, so these people can make as much, IT, they can make anywhere from 80 to 120, 150. They can make boku money, because documentation and charting is going online. It's on computer now. It's laptop, it's your phone. So it's big, okay? So they're up there. Now there's still some places that still use a ledger. And I worked in one of those places even in recent times. It's crazy. Like, you guys still do the MERs and the TRs? Like, what is this? Am I going back in time? Anyway, did I go through a portal and found myself in 1970? Okay, I'm trying to be funny there. Then you have forensic nurse. Forensic nurse is something I did not even know about. Well, I didn't think about it until one of my CNA students told me that that's what she wants to be. Because one thing I do in my CNA class is we introduce ourselves. So I first of all go in and talk about me. I'm always talking about my experience, because you never know who is impacting. So I introduce myself and what I'm doing, and just to break the ice. And they also talk about themselves. And one of my CNA students told me she wants to be a forensic nurse. And I'm like, oh, tell me about that. And then she talked about, you know, those are the people who help with, you all know about forensic, like people who have died, gone, you know, things to do with, I don't even know if I can say those words here, but you know, forensic as in their investigative. You watch CSI, right? You watch Law and Order, you watch, so those people, like you have the ME, the medical examiner. So you have nurses that are also like that. They work cases like that. So they work with law enforcement people, they work with the medical examiner, they help to, even profilers, you know, like they help to solve cases. They also help to sometimes their expertise is needed in court, you know, where there is like speaking for those that cannot speak for themselves because they're not here with us to speak, you know, people who are, something's happened to them. So it's like speaking for the dead. I think I can use that word. There's nothing wrong with that. So forensic nurses, those that are into investigative type things, some people just love that. Okay. So they make up to almost $140. $140,000. Okay. So it's 100 to 140,000, or is it 160 I have here? So, that is nice for those that like that. Again, break out, branch out. Okay. So forensic nursing, and then we have, so I'm just going to tie that to legal nurses, legal nurse consultants, or legal nurses. I actually do have a colleague of mine who went, who is doing this, and is interesting. Again, think outside the box. So he is a legal nurse consultant. So he's someone, you know, about malpractices, things that happen in healthcare. Okay, they are the ones that, so they're like paralegals. Is that one way to look at it? Yeah, because they're part of the support team for the attorneys, right? So an attorney is taking on a case, but he's not an expert in nursing or nursing matters or things to do with healthcare. So nurses, that's where you come in and you help to amp up or beef up these cases. So you are their consultant. They come to you like, so documentation, tell me about documentation. Should it be before, during, and after? I'm just using that as an example. Or tell me about administering a medication. Who's at fault? Is it the person who prescribes it or the person who administers it? Does that make sense? So you consult with the attorneys. So you can be a legal nurse consultant. So a friend of mine is actually doing it and he's making boku money. Again, branching out. The other thing I'm going to talk about is clinical nurse educator. Now, clinical nurse educator or clinical educator usually are in the hospitals. You find them, especially for new nurses coming in, they're the ones who are in charge of training new nurses coming in. Does that make sense? They're the ones who will set up even staff training. Okay, trying to keep up with those CEUs. These are the clinical nurse educators. Okay, they are the ones who would who set up training. Okay, I as a CNA instructor have been called in to train students in a nursing home, and it's people like that, you know, the clinical nurse educators, they put on those programs, and they're the ones who will go to get those services to help their staff, to help old staff. They train the new ones coming in. They draw up a program or a schedule or some type of routine on continuing education services. So they do that, and they can earn anywhere from about $80,000. Okay, can be more, depends on where they work. Let me see. I don't know how many I have given so far, maybe 7 or 8, I don't even know. But those are all the places that you can work, okay? And I do find they're getting more and more popular because a lot of the younger nurses, when I say young, well, younger than me, younger than, one thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to make a note, is remember that research, nursing as a bullying in the nursing culture is millennial nursing. And there's a reason why I'm giving it that name. That might not be the name when I'm doing the video, but it's just to remind me, look, no one's willing to give 30, 20, 40 years to one job. Look, this is the era, this is the age of social media. People now just wear scrubs, smile to the camera, they're funny, and they're making money. Tell me why they're going to go and just, I don't know, spend so many laboring hours in a hospital, in a nursing home. Why are they going to do that when they're making like 10 times that amount just smiling in front of a camera? So we need to get with the program, okay? So, not everyone is working in a hospital. Not everyone is working in the nursing home. Not everyone works at a doctor's office, but those are places you can also work. In Nurse Amy Academy, I'd actually talked about different, because it's so interesting. That's one of the many questions I get. Where can I work? I'm so burnt out. So these are some of the places, okay, that you can work. So branch out. Think outside the box. If you think about it, it's probably there. Working with insurance companies. You can work under, I think LPNs and RNs can work with insurance company. I don't know what they're called, but you can also consult for those people. Maybe, it's not necessarily in a legal form, but they work, they are, I'm going to find the name, but they claim insurance. The insurance claims, right? So you can also work with insurance companies and also work as a team with insurance when they're going to, when they're building their insurance and things like that. I will find that name, but yeah, again, not everybody works in a nursing home. So I get that all the time. So it was easy for me to talk about this topic, to actually do this topic. Because the first thing when I talk to people, until I, of course, inform and create awareness, educate them, first thing is, what hospital do you work at? Well, honey, I haven't worked in a hospital in since I became a nurse. I'm just not doing that, okay? So anyway, if you got value, please give me a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. We're trying to grow this YouTube, please. We want to get to 1,000 and more. So we take it from, I don't even know what I'm in right now, but I'm just starting. Everybody starts from somewhere. I already did a YouTube channel that I grew from 0 to almost 2,000. So, and that's still growing. And with this one, yes, I'm starting, but with your help, we also going to grow this one. So if you got value, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, please share my videos. There are people out there who are just looking for a roadmap. I've got a roadmap that is working for me. Come on board. Let's do it together. Okay, so until I come your way again, please be safe and put out good. It'll find you.